Alex. No, you might be right.
Okay, I am.
Just turn your mic on.
Okay.
We still have the echo.
We need to turn off our speakers up.
Okay.
Even back now? No.
Although I won't.
Are there any cookies left?
There are 4.
They're 5.
5, sorry.
There you go.
Oh, that's really cruel showing them.
To come, Dr. J.
I'm
Where's
1,000 miles away in South Carolina.
Well, I mean, if you hop on a plane, we can save some for you. Where's the rest of the group that was here for the previous meeting?
I'm looking for docs.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing many.
There were a whole bunch on the advisory committee meeting.
Yeah.
They're just coming in late.
Your docs will show up at 3:01.
Hmm.
Thinner fast gel pen so it doesn't smudge on me. No, I don't love the tattoo. I got that and I got this guy.
You're coming on, Bob.
Swollen. This is easier for me.
Sir.
Sorry, just. That's mine. That's mine. He's not married to Doc.
No, Markwood. Yeah. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6,
7.
7. Yeah, so we're good.
We have enough.
Chris Foley's on 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris Gusto was around before, is he?
Has its on.
Okay. 9. He's mine. Okay.
Okay.
So the majority of mine are on. I have 7.
I think we're good. Don't die.
I don't want to, believe me.
Okay, so it's 3:03, March 6th, so I guess we'll get started. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for December?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second,
Oh, Steve has it.
second,
thank you. So up first, correspondence, Stanford Fire Company, Stanfordville, New York. Agency code 1330, surrender certification effective January 9th, 24 for violations Article 30, 3012. Stephanie Lugo, Bronx, New York, had her certification revoked effective 8/17/22, violations of Part 800.16. Leah Cusino, Cousino, Staten Island, New York, had certification suspended for 1 year, effective, excuse me, January 11th. Suspension stayed, placed to probation for 3 years, and assessed a civil penalty of $2,000, 1,000 stayed. Don?
Okay, thank you. Many of you were here for the advisory committee, but we'll go through what we talked about and want to take a pause on one other issue. First of all, if everyone hasn't seen them, DOH has significant funds for EMS. You guys hear me?
Sounds like it might be.
I'm muted here,
Is your microphone off too?
as far as I know.
Okay.
All right, we'll try it again. So DOH has some great plans coming out. If you folks haven't seen them, one that I'm very happy about is that at least for the governor's budget, EMS is going to be an essential service, which has been a long time coming. Counties be responsible for being sure that EMS is available. That doesn't mean that the counties are going to take over EMS. It just means that they need to be sure that it exists, and it may be that they subcontract with a commercial agency, or maybe volunteer agency, or maybe municipal agency, but EMS needs to be available in every county in New York State. DOH is also planning to hire 80 paramedics. I know, Alex, if you want to talk about that at all, for essentially a task force. And they're going to have a fair amount of equipment that they're going to purchase as well, including paramedic response vehicles, critical ambulances for critical care, strike teams, multiple patient transport buses, and some specialized transport units as well. They're also planning to divide the state into 5 zones, of which agencies would be asked to subcontract. That an agency would provide a rig if they were requested. So if you were in zone 1 and something happened in zone 3, the zone 1 folks would help out in zone 3. And they would be subcontracted out with the state. Also, the state is putting in to have the state medical director, which will be a doc, but that will be a full-time job, not a part-time job, which will come with state benefits. So if there are any docs out there that are interested, you may want to let Ryan know about that. As far as I know, that has not yet come out from civil service, but is coming, but it will be a full-time job. Other things we discussed about, the use of magnesium for COPD. Currently, it is a physician option, although it is a standing protocol for paramedics in asthma. The thought was maybe on the next go around, we can change that over of the protocols. Probably no harm, may help a little bit there. There was some discussion on ROC as the primary agent for RSI. Was going to bring it up to this group to see what they think about that. Currently, as it stands in the protocol, it's SUX or ROC. You have your choice. But there certainly appear to be significant advantages just going with ROC. And I know Pat Kervin is here. He may want to jump in. And if anybody has any questions per se, and Pat, you want to talk a little bit about it as well.
Yeah, am I off?
I'm trying.
We good?
Hey, Don, if somebody's talking, we can't hear them. You're muted on your computer.
Hey, Scott, it's me. So are you able to pull that speaker there, Suck? All right. So the thing that we're looking at is I'm switching from succinylcholine as the primary intubating agent to rocuronium, that we've been noting a significant amount of adverse reactions as medics seem to forget that succinylcholine eats oxygen. We're also looking at how sux is contraindicated for the majority of our patients who we have to RSI, and that
Hey,
symptomatic.
Pat,
Yes.
Pat, you gotta get closer to the mic or something, buddy.
All right. Can you hear me now, Scott?
No, you sound like you're very, very far away.
Okay. Where's your mic on this damn thing? Yeah, I'll swing by the good speaker.
Damn thing came across perfect.
The old days of in-person meetings. How nice.
Yeah.
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome to come back.
And you could have the cookies too.
There's no
And I
fee.
only known there would be some. If Sarah was come back and start bringing cookies, that'd be a different story.
Okay, so now that I think I got some of our gremlins worked out, can you hear me now, Scott?
I mean,
I
it's
can
not
hear you
great. I
fine.
don't know about anybody else.
Can everybody else hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Much better. I can hear you.
All right. So the conversation we've been having is that we seem to have, at least over at Albany County, we've got a number of issues going on with sucks specifically. So for one, we're noticing that it seems that people have forgotten that succinylcholine eats oxygen, and we're seeing a lot of negative effects. And when I pulled the data, I found that that's also nationwide, with succinylcholine having greater than a 7% increase in untoward
The
effects.
question was, what are the adverse reactions that you're seeing with sucks?
So with the sucks, we're seeing malignant hyperthermia. We're seeing fasciculations well into, yeah, there's actually some documentation statewide, not statewide, nationwide on that. We're seeing hypoxemic episodes at a higher rate with sucks. We're seeing patients with at least one complication at a rate of 7% higher with sucks over rock, with a list of.
Pat, I'm sorry. You're giving us a lot of data and some facts that actually are case reportable. So if there has been a case of malignant hyperthermia in this region that has not been reported to Remo and that we have not had an opportunity to explore, that's a huge problem.
No, that's not within Remo. That's a national statistic.
Let's.
That's buried in the 18%.
Just
How many
what you have
cases were
seen.
that? What's that?
That was out of,
Because I told the docs, has anyone had a case with malignant hyperthermia in your career?
No.
Negative.
No.
No.
I'll pull back on there. So please excuse me on that. I have the rest of the stats here in front of me. Am I loud?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Go for it.
So with that, we're still seeing a way higher rate of complication with sucks over rock. We're also seeing the comeuppance of sugammadex, which, while expensive, it's coming out between $500 and $1,000 a dose for post RSI. We also wanted to open up the floor for conversation on potentially introducing the drug as a backup should things go south, not necessarily as a running medication for every RSI, but having it as an option over as a reversal agent in the box for the longer duration.
So we want to bring it up and see what folks thought about whether we should start thinking about using rock as the primary agent in the region, or whether everybody wants to just continue as we are with sucks and or rock. I mean, in the Muru app, you have either or.
I would need to see the EMS specific data. I think we need to see that.
Yeah, agreed. We need to know what complications, how often it's happening in the region before we change our protocol and before we spend tens of thousands of dollars on a medication.
Yeah, even $500 for Sugammadex across X number of ambulances, that's a huge expense. And I honestly, I can't even remember the last time I used it in the emergency department. And because there's many backups to your airway plan. So there's that too.
Hi, it's Bruce. I think we have two separate questions here. One is, well, actually three, rocks versus sucks. Next one is rocks and sucks, and then reversal. I know we all have our own thoughts. I'll throw out mine. I think reversal, as long as you know how to use a bag valve mask and an OPA, you don't need it. You don't need to reverse it.
Agreed.
So it's just too expensive of an option. It's not cheap like Narcan. So there's that piece. And then rocks over sucks, sucks over rock. It's really just a time management issue and training. In my opinion, I think you can use both. Sucks will work faster. Rock is slower. You should put rock before you put your sedative because it's going to take a while to take effect. One of the biggest mistakes that I see when I'm on scene with medics who are intubating with RSI is they don't want to wait to let the medicines work. And that is multiplied 100-fold when you're using rock because it takes so long to work. Really, it's a DSI drug. It's not an RSI drug. So there, I'll throw those out on the table. But I think we have to keep the reversal question separate than which drug we use.
So I think get their opinion on the reversal drug because sucks and rock are both options. So it's less of a decision. If there's anyone in support of having the reversal available, then we should hear the perspective now.
Hey, this is Dr.
I'm supportive of
Hayashi.
having
I'm just gonna weigh in briefly if that's okay. So I agree. I think Sigamadex is far too expensive, and I think by the time that you get it in and get adequate reversal, you better have managed the airway in a different way at that point in time. So I don't know that it plays a huge role in reversal, especially in EMS. And honestly, I haven't seen it play a huge role in the emergency department either. As far as rock versus sucks, the major complications that I have seen is hyperkalemia from it, and I've seen that actually in a couple of cases in the last year or two. Out in the field, not in the hospital. So I do think that those concerns are certainly valid, and I agree. I think people have to have strong airway skills. You do have to wait a little bit longer for rock. You can mitigate some of that by giving them larger doses, but I think a training component to it, and then we do have to do adequate post-intubation sedation. I'm in favor of rock. I don't know that I would necessarily take sucks off the table, but certainly there are agencies I think that are eager to only carry one agent. Those are my.
Have you actually, just a question for you. When you saw your hyperkalemia, was it just a decimal point on a lab sheet, or was it actually a clinical manifestation of hyperkalemia?
It was a manifestation. So it's two cases. One survived, one did not. The one case sort of actually had been a refractory VFib arrest that got shocked a couple of times, and then seemed to have a sinus rhythm, but was clenched down with difficult airway, so ended up getting RSI'd by in Colony by our paramedics there. At the time, they were only carrying sucks, so they gave sucks and then devolved into a sine wave rhythm, which ended up responding, fortunately, to calcium, and we had a good outcome from that one. But the other one, sort of similar situation, but unfortunately, we weren't able to get that one back. I can't prove that second one, that other one was hyperkalemia, but when I looked at the rhythms and everything, it seemed awfully suspicious.
One thing that we may want to think about doing again, which seems to have been lost with COVID, is we did do RSI reviews in the past, and it hasn't happened for quite some time. I don't know if it's worthwhile doing that again
Probably, yeah.
to see if there are any issues.
Okay.
Quite frankly, Don, I think that's a great idea. And I think the more we do reviews like that, the better. We have had significant issues in terms of continuity with QI for a number of different reasons. And that is something that definitely requires a regional oversight, just like the regional review that we do of ketamine utilizations, because these are low frequency, high liability potential events. So I think that makes a ton of sense. The one thing I would throw in, and it's interesting because Warren and I have discussed this a lot. I happen to prefer sucks as an agent. Warren prefers rocuronium. Some of that is a factor of age. Some of it is a factor of fear of people not sedating adequately after they are paralyzed with a long-acting agent. I see a significant number of patients with inadequate sedation in the setting of long-term paralysis, and our patients that come in from outside hospitals after being intubated there. And that is a grave fear of mine. But I think from purposes of this protocol, we have two agents available. So either one is an option for an agency based on their own situation and their medical directors training to the crews. And I would lobby strongly to leave both as opportunities for any agency to choose to use based on both drug availability, which we know will be a continual issue, as well as medical director and then ultimately provider discussion.
Okay, I think that's a good idea, Mike. So maybe we can end up having Tim send out an advisory to at least maybe at the next meeting or the meeting after that to just review a number of RSIs over the last year from agencies, if we could get the data, because we just don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I would actually give enough time. I would make that an agenda item for June rather than for the next meeting,
Okay.
which will actually be April. But having the agencies that are credentialed to do RSI present on some of their rousing successes and some of their opportunities for learning, and doing that in the June meeting would make the most sense.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Okay, Tim, if you could do that, that'd be great.
Okay. And I sense no support for people spending thousands of dollars for Sugabadex. Okay.
The rest of the academics, since I'm sitting here, Tim, you had an EMT course. There was no new courses from Hudson Valley or from Cobblestone. Did you have one coming up, Tim? Tim's coming up.
Yeah, correct. Remo will change.
All right. That's the end of academic.
Okay. Remsco bylaws, this was more housekeeping with moving from a every month meeting to meetings as needed for getting the work done. So we changed the attendance from a set number to 30%. One also changes that instead of just working in the region, you have to be a resident of the region. That would be some of the bylaws changes. Still waiting for our payments from Department of Health for both both regions, Hudson Mohawk and Arams. So any more word on that coming, Tim?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Checks in the mail somewhere.
For the Certificate of Need Committee, approval of Town of Ashland. Love the sound effects. How much did Ashland pay you for that? Air Methods had their CON renewed as a corporate structure change, and then Rotterdam EMS for what town was that? Altamont, yes. Okay. And CMAC?
So CMAC and SEMSCO, we did have a meeting and we actually had a quorum, which was really great. And hopefully we'll continue. A lot of it was a discussion that we had previously of the DOH and their plans for EMS in the future. Protocols will come out as of July 1st. There'll be a summary before that occurs of whatever changes there are. That was basically the highlights. There's still a credentialing committee meeting every Monday, trying to figure out how we're going to do credentialing. Can't think of anything else. Mike, did you have anything to add to that? You were there. Nope. Good for me.
Okay, Mike, UI. That's nothing?
As I said, there's been some personnel changes in place in the office. The only thing that really the folks in the Med Standards office really were working on was to make sure that you maintain our membership in CARES. And hopefully we have taught more people to fish, and agencies will be doing their own uploads into CARES instead of what was happening through the office. And that will be a successful program moving forward. So we'll be presenting more on that next month.
Thanks, Mike. Tim, any updates on that? No report.
Hawk,
Doc.
no report.
Okay. Agency updates. There are no EPCR, BLSFR, ALS upgrade, or BLS medications. Public access defibrillation. General Electric Saratoga, Spectrum Schenectady, Thorpe Pontiac, SEC Affinity Med, SUNY Albany, Nixon Peabody, Curtis Lumber Boston Spa, Living Resources, Montgomery County Sheriff. I think that's Planet Fitness.
Yes.
Latham Glenmont Rotterdam, Saratoga Golf and Polo, Chubb Insurance, and Capital City Rescue Mission. New business, LifeNet of New York. Are you on?
Mark Foster.
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
All right, we're just proposing the next upgrade in our PCGs. We sent out the new PCG revision 10 with the appendix. Do you guys have any questions? It really is mostly just wording changes. We've added a couple of new medications. Levo albuterol was put into the protocol along with the pediatric administration of TXA. We also have, we're using whole blood now for the state.
Any discussion?
So Mark, the one thing that I would love to see, if you don't mind, would be a presentation on your whole blood cases. So we can get a better sense of how that is impacting the pre-hospital environment, particularly as we have a group of folks that's going to be looking to see whether or not this is something that's accessible as a ground intervention for the 180 days a year where you guys can't fly.
Okay.
So if you would bring data back whenever you have that data accessible, my guess would be, even after the summer, if you can look to maybe one of our meetings in the late fall would be fantastic. We've certainly been following the data that's come out of Austin and out of San Antonio, which has been fantastic. And I'd love to see what this is doing for things like shock index and patient selection here in New York.
I'm not sure.
I will throw this up the chain and see that it's done.
Yeah, so we don't tell. Okay. Mike, you're on for the quality measures.
So right now I'm being mocked by text. Somebody just dropped me a note. This is actually, it's 179 days. Actually, it's not 180 days if you can't fly. So that's probably true.
That's only on an El Nino year. In an La Nina year, it's 190 days.
It could be. What about leap years?
191.
So we sent around the quality measures. This is for the National EMS Quality Alliance. These were sponsored by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration through the Office of EMS. These are fantastic guidelines to look at on an agency by agency basis and see which ones of those will be things that you would like to pursue as an agency and follow up first. All of these goals are reasonable, and quite frankly, it's a really nice work product from Michael Redliner from Mount Sinai and some other folks across the country. The things that I think we should make sure to be watching here, and we're going to look to do in association with the folks in the trauma program, will be patients who are secondarily transferred for trauma, as well as patients through the stroke service who are secondarily transferred for stroke, where there are opportunities for different destinations on the initial transfer to the hospital. But these quality measures are an excellent set of opportunities for agencies to pursue. So I suggest you take a look at that, see what else NEMSQA has got going, and really get a good understanding for what nationally is happening with EMS, because these are very, very helpful.
Okay. Any discussion on that? So the one they just want to put out briefly is that with the Epic Go Live, Albany Med is taking advantage of that to push alternatives to opiates initiative again. So when bringing patients in, they may have an expectation of something, but we're going to try to limit opiate usage. I don't know if we want to start pushing this more towards pre-hospital as in Toradol for other indications than just renal colic, Haldol for headaches, things like that. But currently that would all be a medical command call because nothing else is in the protocol for that. And I don't know if we want to push that yet, just so people know of what's going on at Albany, and then it would be pushed out to the other Albany Med affiliates.
The interesting thing with you talking about pain management, and several people were on this call that have watched how pain management has changed in this region over the course of the last 20 years. It was the work done in this region that actually led to standing order opioids in the field for pain management in the first place. We'll all thank Paul Fink for having great records to be able to show to the Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement, which allowed us to take that step. But one of the things I think that most of us on this call will recognize is that while alternatives to opioids are extremely helpful in the emergency department, there are not a lot of paramedics that are giving out opioids unless someone has really, really earned them with something that looks bad. And that I think is very helpful in terms of practice parameters for where we initiate care. We don't give out a lot of pain management. We probably should give out more. I think it's in the hospital in particular, the Alternatives to Opioids program is a fantastic thing to look for. And certainly each agency, I'm sure, is looking to see if they have discrepant prescribers within their ranks already.
Okay. New business for ARAMS. We have proposed new Remac member for Dr. Stephen Hassett, who's been a member of Hudson Mohawk for years. So I guess we need a motion to accept Dr. Hassett.
I make a
Dr.
motion to
Markowitz.
accept Dr. Hassett.
I'll second the motion.
Anyone, all in favor? Or actually, anyone opposed? Okay. Now Dr. Hassett is welcome in both regions. ALS upgrade for Montgomery County EMS to paramedic level.
So this was a application that got sent around to the physicians last week by email vote, and they voted into the affirmative to upgrade that agency to a paramedic level agency.
Okay, so we don't need
So,
any vote here.
no, they just kind of more to hit the record because it was done by email, so it needed to be memorialized.
Is that the same as the?
Nope.
Okay. Hartwick Fire Department Emergency Squad from AMT to paramedic.
Any discussion?
Anyone here to discuss on that?
How many paramedics do they actually have?
Right now, one.
One.
And unlike Remo, there's no requirement for 24-hour coverage of ALS. There's just no way that can happen in Arams at this time.
Okay.
And they have a critical care tech and at least 2 AEMTs as well.
Okay.
So with the limited resources that we have, it's a supplement to help with what
We had an issue about 12 years ago that makes us a little sensitive to that in this region, but this is what you need versus what we had then, so.
Correct.
Any other
We'll take all the
discussion
help
on
we
this?
can get.
Yes, this is so your medic can be a medic.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion on this? Okay, can we get a motion?
Sure.
Motion we pass.
Okay, second. Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Okay.
Rob, if I may, I think this is a great opportunity to highlight how we have two regions that have really disparate missions. At the end of the day, it's all about taking care of patients and making sure we can do that. We do have much more resources at our disposal in the remote region than many areas of Arams does. And, recognizing that having slightly different standards across those two regions is a very reasonable thing to do in order to make sure our patients are getting the best care they can.
Absolutely.
Good luck,
Mike, thank you.
So the Stanford Joint Fire District is not deficient in submitting controlled substance paperwork. I think that got lost in translation. It is more that they have not requested permission of and or notified the region that they've gone ALS. Despite having been provided the paperwork, I am currently working through that with them and Alex to get the paperwork that the region needs. So Alex, when did they receive their controlled substance license?
Somewhere right around Christmas, I think the last couple of days of the calendar year.
Mm-hmm. So I had provided the squad captain, it's an ALS first response agency, going from AEMT to paramedic. And I had provided them with the paperwork, and evidently they didn't return it to me. They returned it to the county EMS coordinator, despite my requests for it to be returned to me. So that is an ongoing project.
And that was notification. That doesn't need a vote or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
Not yet.
And updating the Aram section on Muru.
Dr. Markowitz.
I'd like to get together with the docs, especially the Arams docs, and what in our region, when we open up Muru, when you take a look in there, we've got one item only under informational and protocols, which is albuterol BLS, to where we can discuss and set out a set of protocols and informational letters within Muru for help, as all of the critical cares and paramedics in our area have to have ACLS and have to have PALS. And we just need to update the Muru appropriately to the already approved protocols and ideas that are already in action within our region. So we just have some paperwork updating to do and make sure that all the docs are on the same page and our region's on the same page and Muru's on the same page.
In that region.
So my question would be, and I do not know the answer to this, who from each region interfaces with Muru? So say there's something that you want to put on the Remo specific page in Muru, who tells them that?
So that actually was something that they data mined off the websites. So it was accessible on the website as a PDF with policy on it. They data mined and then posted it.
We have tons.
That was not something that was directly done as
We
mentioned.
have tons of stuff.
So if there's anything else that needs to be on there,
No,
that's
I know.
certainly
Yeah,
something that if you notify them through the app, they have been very responsive to me at least, in terms of answering questions.
Okay.
And addressing things.
So at this point, we do not have a website. We are working to possibly get a subpage on the Remo website so that we can at least meet our obligations of posting our minutes and that type of stuff. So, Dr. Markowitz, that leaves everything wide open for what we want to put up there.
I think it's good. And any docs that want to join us, that would be great. We sure would like to update our area, Muru within our region to where it is more accessible and the information is more up to date and helpful for the medics.
What happened to the website you guys used to have? Did that come down when Phil left?
It seems like it came down about 6 months after Phil left. It seems that no one paid the domain name charges, and instead of going through a whole need to set it up again, we're just going to work on piggybacking off of the Remo site.
The challenges continue and we're doing our best to keep everything going in a positive direction. Thank you.
It sounds like it needs to get done. I don't have any old business. Is anyone aware of any old business that we're supposed to work on? And old business for Arams, they have a seat open on the CMAC.
I'm
Not
going to continue.
exactly open. Dr. Markowitz is filling it right now, but is looking to hand off to someone who may have interest.
They have an upcoming opening on the CMAC.
Yes.
So I'm still attending to make sure we do have a quorum because that is quite an issue at CMAC. So there's no hurry, no worries. But if somebody really is interested in jumping in and taking the ball and running and helping us progress in a positive direction, as well as state EMS go in a positive direction, it's open for the future. But yes, I will be there, Don, to make sure that we continue to have a quorum.
We'll even let you fly your balloon there if you'd like to.
Don,
Don't
thank you.
tempt us.
But how do you get home? Winds go that way.
Well, I can tell you.
He's got friends that live there.
Go all the way around.
Do you think you could land at Lynn's?
There you go. Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank
He
you.
goes to Oz.
Yes. I have had several of the docs have questions. There's a lot of interest. We've got some work where I give Arams credit. I think we're growing. I think we're getting stronger. I appreciate Remo's, all of your help. As it was down to me and Dr. Fisher, and we're slowly growing, but your wisdom is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Well, Bruce would make a great man behind the green curtain, so.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay,
My pleasure.
any open items, any new topics for the floor? That's
Just
wide
one-
open because there's no one there.
Yeah, one item I just wanted to bring on real quick, and we're gonna make this an agenda item next month. But just so people can start to think about how we want to pursue it. There have been a number of cases that have been brought to my attention over the course of the last 6 months, where paramedics and medical control physicians were unaware of the rules around DNR orders. And one of the things that we put into the protocol was actually the section of code which actually talks about how DNRs exist in New York State, and that if somebody believes in good faith that a DNR order exists and they honor that, they are indemnified. We put that in specifically for the comfort of our EMS providers. This was brought up to me again this week by some folks through the St. Peter system, and I want to make a good discussion item for next month, and also discuss at the same time EMOST, so people can think about how these will impact them and care of patients in the field. and be prepared to talk about this, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Any other discussion from the floor? Okay, my goal was to make it to at least a 3:45 today, so I'm going to, I don't know, put on some background music or something until we have the motion to adjourn.
Can I have a 1-minute question?
You can have a 3-minute question, Bruce.
All right.
Speak slowly.
I don't know where I saw this go by my readings, but I saw it go back. Somewhere in education, I saw that there was entertaining a motion for requiring physician-led education and not just paramedic and alternative mean education. Someone want to tell me what's going on behind that?
I have not heard anything, and I'm on the state ed committee for
This was,
CMAC.
this was gonna be a Remo,
Okay.
issue. Basically, because a lot of the quality of what's out there sometimes isn't great. It would be I think we were talking about maybe 4 hours a year of physician-led education. And I think that was put out as a think about discussion topic, but we haven't had any formal discussion on it now.
I see. So that's just something to talk about as a parking lot issue. All right. I'll wait for the parking lot discussion to emerge. Thanks.
If anyone has thoughts on it now, I'd be perfectly happy to entertain it.
I guess I just want to know what you're trying to fix.
I think it was more of a trying to improve versus just trying to fix.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Made it 3:45.
We made it to 3:45. And I did not have to talk that slowly. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
And make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, looks like Mike has seconded. We will see you all in next month because we're all cycle,
Yep, April.
April. And there will be cookies.
Maybe not Sarah.
Can you mail them to me?
Thanks, guys.